So over the last couple of days, I've been thinking about how I can help you the most in terms of your training at home and getting the most out of this period where you might not be able to shoot at the club and that sort of thing. And one of the first things that came to mind is going through some specific apps that you can use on, your iPhone, iPad, Android phone, whatever it is, some specific apps that are really useful for your self-coaching, because obviously a lot of people at the moment aren't going to be able to go to the club, get input from other archers, from coaches, and I want to show you some essential apps that I always use and that are always on my iPad and phone, so that I can, self-coach in the best way and then use these apps to help me in my training, help me in my bow training, that kind of thing. So that is what I'm going to look at today, and let's get started with the apps. So now I'm going to go through the apps one by one and show you on the iPad as well what you can do with these apps. So the first app, and this is by far the best app that you can get for your training and your self-coaching, is a video delay app. The one I use that I really like is called BAM Video Delay. It's on the Apple App Store, but you can also get similar ones on the Android App Store, and there are other ones available. But if I just open this app now, the video delay, it does exactly what it sounds like. You can set the delay on the app, so you can choose here. You can set the delay on the app. You can maybe change it, for example, to 10 seconds. So if you look at the screen here, I've changed it to 10 seconds. And now if I move this around, I've moved the iPad, it should be facing the wall now. But as you can see, it's still facing my head because there's a delay on it. And then eventually when the delay goes through, then you can see it's facing the wall and the target. So it's just got a delayed feedback on here. And this is great because you can put it on a tripod, shoot your shot, go through, shoot your shot, then look at what's happening. So it's really, really useful for that. And it's just a brilliant app. You can also, on this app, if you see the screen now again, you can also see on this app, you can create maybe a couple of different tiles on the app with different delays. So you can change the delays on different ones. So you can say, okay, if I'm looking at my release and my bow shoulder, it's very hard to look at both things at one point. So you can maybe do a 5-second delay, and then you will look at your release. And then on the other tile, you can do a 7-second delay. And then on that one, you can look at the bow shoulder, so you can stagger what you're looking at. So it's great for that as well. This app is really, really good. And you can also have a live view in this app. So for example, you can, put the app in front of you and use it as a mirror if you don't have a mirror. So it's great for that as well. What I really like with this app is, it's great on a phone and you can prop that on your tripod. But if you've got an iPad or a tablet or something, it's even better because it's so much bigger and you can really see. You can also mirror it to, if you've got an Apple TV or some sort of TV like that, you can mirror it to this TV, and then you can change, you can be shooting this way and have the video delay in front of you so you don't have to keep turning around, that kind of thing. So it's really, really great for that. So if you just get one app from today, I would definitely recommend getting this app or an equivalent similar one. This one I think is maybe £6 or something, $6. But there are other ones that are free and you can use these instead. They're great, just get a video delay app. Now the second app that I recommend everyone gets is just some sort of interval timer. The one I use, you can see here again, is called Sit Interval Timer. So this is just an iPhone app and it's just kind of scaled up to the iPad. But what you can do on here is you can set a number of sets that you're gonna do. And what I would use this for is for bow training or any sort of drills where maybe you're shooting arrows in a specific time frame. So you set the number of sets. Say you're doing bow training, maybe you're gonna do 10 sets. And you're going to do 20-second hold, so that's the action, 20-second hold, and then the break, you're going to have maybe 30 seconds between each one, and then you can go, and then it will just count you down. It will have an audible timer, you can see the timer as well, and it's great for that. So it's a really simple, great app to use for your bow training and in other drills as well. The third app is one that's called Coach's Eye. Probably have heard of this. It's a great app for taking an individual video on your phone or whatever, and then looking at it in more detail. So whereas the video delay is more instant feedback for when you're shooting, Coach's Eye is better for, you might take a video of you scoring a round or shooting an end, and then later in the evening when you've got a bit of time to sit down and reflect, then putting it in Coach's Eye is a little bit more detailed analysis. It's also great for drawing on the video and seeing if you shift. For example, if you're looking at your posture, you can draw a line and see if you shift. So for example, in this video here, you can scroll through very smoothly, which is really good with Coach's Eye. So you can really see the release, see what's happening. And then you can also, for example, draw a line to see if there's any movement, and then play through the video and make sure, you know, if there's anything moving like that. So it's really good for stuff like that, and to see if there's any shifting, use the lines, and also to provide feedback if you're a coach, obviously, and as the name suggests, to provide feedback to archers. And you can see how this is, you know, really useful to send a video where you can kind of annotate and draw on it. So it's great to get that as well. So app number 4 is one that's recently been introduced to me by Peter Draper, who sent a video in before. You might have seen that one, but it's called LetsView. And what this does is effectively, if you don't have an Apple TV, it allows you to mirror your, you know, your iPhone, iPad, Android phone, whatever, to your laptop or to another device, basically. So the reason why this is really useful is one of the best angles you can get, especially in your home training right now, is an overhead angle to see your alignment, see how everything's moving, see, you know, your expansion and stuff like that. It's a great angle, but it's very hard to get normally. If you have an Apple TV, you can use the video delay app, put the phone above you using a tripod or something, or, you know, even mounting it to the ceiling. You can do that, but then you can't see what's happening, obviously. Every time you'd have to look up. So if you've got an Apple TV, you can put it on the Apple TV in front of you. That's great. If you don't have an Apple TV, that's where an app like LetsView comes in, and you can mirror that to the TV or your laptop in front of you. And LetsView, they have different apps for, you know, Mac laptops, Windows laptops, Android phones, iPhones. It's great for that. So it lets you mirror that without having an Apple TV and stuff. So it's really great. And I definitely recommend, if you haven't used an overhead angle before, I definitely recommend trying to get one, because it's really useful to see what's going on. So definitely give that a go as well. So the next one is called Archery Success, and this is basically a plotting app. So what this lets you do is score your arrows, plot them on a target face. Importantly, it lets you identify which arrows you're shooting, so you can see, you know, if there's any bad arrows in your group, and it lets you plot these. Now, if you're on Android, the best option for you is Artemis. If you're on an iPhone or an iPad, then Archery Success is the one for you. It's the best one I've found, you know, on the Apple ecosystem. But it's really good because it lets you see what's happening to your groups within a tournament, or what's happening to an arrow that keeps going low right. Is it the arrow? You can plot, you know, which number it is. So it's great in competition preparation, doing your arrow selection, and then it's great in a competition to make sure you're moving your sight enough and that kind of thing. So I definitely recommend that one as well. Now, the next app is something you might not normally associate with archery, but it's a metronome timer. So this is really good, again, for a couple of things. Firstly, for bow training or doing some holds where it's a little bit harder to, you know, use the interval timer, and you just kind of want to set you know, a second, and you can have that click so that you can do the rep, basically. So for example, for a 7+2, I'll set a 60 beat per minute metronome, and obviously on every second it will beep, and then I can use that to do my 7+2. So I'll come up and then go 1, 2, 3, and I'll use the beep to count, and then go 1, 2, and then hold for 7, and it makes sure you don't, you know, change how you're counting and do less in the exercise, because normally people kind of speed up how they're counting. So it's great for that, but importantly, it's great for doing timing drills within your shots, and this is something that the interval timer can't do. So if you're working on your shot rhythm, you might want to see how consistent you are from your set position to your setup. And the metronome is great for this, because you can find a rhythm that works for you. So maybe it's 3 seconds, and you can go 1, 2, 3. And then you can set the timer for this. And, you know, even if it might not be 60 beats per minute, you might actually change how many beats per minute it is, but it helps you get into a rhythm and make it really consistent and really build this into a solid routine. And you can do from your set to your setup, from your setup to draw, whatever it is. It's really great to build a rhythm, and you can eventually build this in to your whole shot. So you go from, you know, the start to finish, and maybe that's going to take 9 beeps, and you can use that in your shot to kind of pace yourself, test how you're being consistent, and then improve that over time. So it's a really great app for that. So the final app, and this is one for the people who are okay with kind of getting a bit more into the nitty-gritty with technology and kind of setting stuff up and are pretty good with computers. The last one is called OBS, and this is an amazing piece of software that somehow is free on, you know, Windows, on Mac, and it's basically a desktop piece of software that lets you connect webcam, or even connect a IP address streaming camera. So you can use your iPhone, for example, or your Android phone, use an app on that to stream the video over Wi-Fi, and then use that video on the desktop computer and then delay it. And this is amazing because it lets you set up almost like a permanent video delay solution at home with different angles, and you can set up multiple different angles. You can change how they're displayed on the screen, so you can have one angle bigger than the others and change the delays and everything like that. It's really, really good, and it's completely free. So as you can see here, I'll just kind of launch the screen here. And as you can see, this, you just set up a scene. So you go to set up a scene here, and then you go and click and you put a new source. And then when you select your video device, you can select, if you've got a webcam, this is where you select that. So for example, you can place a webcam, stick it on the ceiling because it's super light, and then you just have a USB connection and you plug that into your laptop, and then now you've got an overhead video delay. So it's really, really great for that. And this is just amazing to have something kind of permanent where you don't have to fiddle around with a tripod all the time. Just leave the webcam on the ceiling, plug it in, and it's amazing. It's a bit more in depth. If you guys want, I can kind of go through and show you how to use OBS in a separate video. Drop a comment down below if you want me to do that and kind of go through that in a bit more detail. But suffice to say, it's a great piece of software. I use it all the time for video delay, and it's amazing that it's free, and yeah, definitely give it a go for some more kind of permanent setup like that.